This video shows how to create a custom page header for your inspection reports. PalmTech gives you the ability to customize the page header that shows up at the top of each page of your report. You have the option to set it up using a pre-built format, or you can create your own. Creating your own page header is done in Print Settings, which we can get to by clicking on the Settings tab over here on the left, or by clicking on the Print Settings icon from the toolbar. Let's go ahead and click on the icon from the toolbar. Now we'll go to our Header tab by clicking on it. To create a custom page header, we're going to check the box for Custom, and then we're going to click on Edit Customized Layout. This brings up the Customized Page Header screen where you have a ton of flexibility to set the page header up the way you want. In this video, we'll explain what all of the options are and then put together a simple example. At the top of the screen, we see a preview of what our page header currently looks like. In place, we already have a couple items such as the page number and then the date and time. The company name shows up in the middle, and then here on the right we have the client name and then the property address. Below the preview on the left hand side, we have a list of all the text elements that are part of our page header. You can easily add in more text elements by clicking on Add Element, and you can delete one out by clicking on it and then clicking on Delete. If you click on an existing text element, then all the properties for it are going to show up over here on the right. You can see the text associated with it, the position of it, as well as the font that's being used. An example of this with the text element is the one right here for client name and property address. So we'll go ahead and click on it. You'll notice that in place of the actual text for client name and then property address, we have these curly brackets around it. This is called a merge field, and the way this works is that it will pull the information that you enter into the general information category and then display it wherever these merge fields are used. So this means that you only have to type in the property address and the client name one time in the general information category. It's going to show up automatically wherever you use the merge field. For this text element, you can see that it's set to be right justified. It's going to start 0.6 inches down the page, and it's going to start on the right hand side, so 8.15 inches across the page. For the font, we have Franklin Gothic Medium 11 points, and it's green. Let's make a couple changes to this. First, let's change this to say client, and then have the client name merge field. So we're going to click in the box, and we're just going to take out where it says prepared for, and then we're going to type in client. Below that, we'll do the similar type of thing, and we'll just type in property. So that way we're giving it more of a label. And as you can see, when we changed it here, it automatically updated it in the preview. Now, let's change the font. So instead of being green, let's make it black. And we can do this by clicking on the Choose Font button, and it pulls up the Select Font screen, and we'll just go to Color, and we'll simply select black, and then we'll click on OK, and once again, our change has been made. Now, let's change the position. So instead of having it show up over here on the right, let's change it to show up over here on the left, and so we'll click on left here. And when we do that, it moves it over, but it's overlapping with the page number as well as the date and time. And of course, we don't want this. So we're going to go to the page number and the date and time and make a couple changes here. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to change this to center. So right away, you can see that it's no longer overlapping. But as we're looking at this, we really don't need the date and time to show up. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to just take that right out. So we just have the page number. It's touching a little bit with the company name. So we're actually going to move this down some. So for the vertical, we're just going to increase this. And as far as changing the position, you can do it either by clicking on the arrows like we're doing here, or you can simply click in a box and then manually type in what you want. So we're going to make this significantly lower. So we're just going to type this in. We'll get it to 1.38. That looks pretty good. And the reason why we're lowering it so much is because we actually want to add in our company logo, and we want that logo to go right here. So we want to make sure we have enough space for it. The last change we'll make to the page is just like we changed this to black, we're going to change the font to black. So we'll click on Choose Font. We'll change the color. We'll change that to black. And now that's updated and looks the way we want. So as I mentioned, we want to add in our logo to appear right above the page number. And because of this, we don't need our company name to appear here. So to do this, we're going to go ahead and just move this right over to the right corner. So we'll click on Inspection Company Name. We'll go ahead and right justify that. and we're going to make it a little bit smaller and change the font to black. So we'll click on choose font. We'll change black. Let's make it a little bit smaller. We'll change it to 16. And we've now adjusted that the way we want. Now, let's go ahead and add in our logo. And we can do that by clicking on the Locate Logo button. Here, all you have to do is just navigate to where your logo is at on your computer. Click on it, and then click on OK, and it's going to add it in. When it adds it in, it's just going to tuck it right here in the top left corner, but we have our options here to manually adjust not only where it shows up, but also the size of it. So let's go ahead and set this up the way we want. We want it to be more centered, and so we'll change the left. We'll change it to 3.45. We wanted to make it larger, and so we're going to change the height of it. We'll go ahead and change this to we'll say 105. And then it's overlapping with the page number, so we actually want to raise it a little bit. And we can do that by lowering the top. So raise it up some. So that looks good, and that's all set. So the last change we want to make is we want to add in our website and our company phone number, and we want those to show up here in the top right corner, right below the company name. So to do this, we're going to click on Add Element. Now we'll come in here to the box, and we'll just type in what we want. So let's go ahead and type in our address. So our web address is there. We'll hit enter, and then we'll go ahead and put our phone number. And now both of them are showing up right below the company name. It looks a little tight there, so we actually want to lower this just a little bit. Perfect. We've now set up the page header to look the way we want for all of our inspections. We can always come back in here to make any changes we want, and if you ever wanted to start over, you can do that by clicking on the Reset to Default button. Let's go ahead, we're going to click on Close, and then we're going to click on Close again, and we're going to pull up our print preview to see how this header looks. So as we can see, we'll skip ahead. So as we can see, our header includes the exact information we put in there. Our client name and our property address are here in the top left corner. Our company name was moved over with our web address and our phone number, and that logo is a little bit larger than what it would have been right there in the middle with the page number showing up below it. This concludes the video on creating a custom page header.